Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back. This week in ELA, we are working on our conclusion for our explanatory essay that we've been writing. So you've already done you've chosen your topic, you wrote your introduction, you wrote your body paragraphs, you did your transition work. So we're going to wrap it up this week for our initial draft. Next week, we're going to spend some time editing and revising and doing that sort of thing. So talking about conclusions today. Remember, these are our notes. Remember, target idea, symbols and slides. I'm not going to necessarily have you take notes specifically to turn in, but I'm just kind of guiding you that this is a good idea that you might want to jot some things down. Okay. Let's see. Our essential question: what are the components of a conclusion paragraph? And we've already talked about what explanatory writing is. It's writing to inform or explain. Its goal is, and here it is again. I know I said it before, but it's a writing where the goal is to inform and explain the reader about a topic while providing useful and relevant information, including valid reasoning to support your explanation, where it's staying away from opinion and I statements and that sort of thing. So here we go. Today's focus, conclusions. 3 parts to our conclusion paragraph. You can see how everything kind of has like 3 main parts, right? That's kind of how paragraphs are built, essays are built. You want to restate the topic. You want to restate the thesis in similar words, but new. And then a final thought to make the reader think, or a call to action, or depending on what type of writing you're going to be doing, a final thought. Okay, so first, to restate the topic, you want to bring back the topic to the audience's attention. You introduced it at the beginning of the essay in the first paragraph. You talked about it throughout the body paragraphs. Just kind of reintroduce, bring it back to the attention, remind them of why it's an important topic that you're talking about. So to do that, you want to use similar words from your essay. So don't bring in brand new words, like use keywords and phrases, things that you've used already. Make your audience understand why the topic's important. Avoid adding new information. This is one of the biggest issues that I see students doing when they're writing essays. In the conclusion paragraph, they think, oh, I forgot to mention this. So they mention it and they talk about something new in their conclusion paragraph. Don't do that. And avoid redundancy. Redundancy means using the same thing over and over. So don't use the exact same phrases. Similar words, not exact same. Okay? Here is and you'll have, just like always, you'll have access to this video and to the slideshow, so you can look at this. Remember the topic that we're using for our little example. Why has the game Among Us become such a huge hit in 2020? A poor restatement of the topic is, Among Us is a cool game. You should play the game. Yeah. Another poor example, Among Us is a fun game to play on your tablet. Okay. A good example of restating the topic is, during a time where many individuals are looking for ways to stay occupied during a pandemic, Innersloth, the creators of Among Us, have created such a game that has become a major hit in 2020. You'll notice that the restatement of the topic is not necessarily, it can be long, right? It might be long. It could be a couple paragraphs to restate the topic. That's okay. Okay. Or I'm sorry, a couple sentences, not paragraphs. Don't write a couple paragraphs, a couple sentences to restate the topic. Okay. The next step is to restate the thesis. Again, similar words, not exactly the same thesis statement that you used. So once you restate the topic, then you restate your thesis. Keep some of your original wording for consistency, but change some words. Vary your sentence structure. Stretch your 1-sentence thesis into a 2-sentence thesis, just like I was talking about, right? Some examples. A poor restatement. This is the original one. The game Among Us has been a huge success because of its ability to create community during a pandemic, the variety of devices an individual can play the game on, and the essay to learn hard to master aspect of the game. Easy to learn, hard to master aspect of the game. A poor restatement. The game Among Us has been a great success because of its ability to establish communities during a pandemic, the variety of platforms. You can see it's literally the same statement. Don't do that. Okay? Here's it restated. Okay, and I'll let you read through that on your own, but you can see it's got similar phrases and wording, but it's not exactly the same. Okay, so you're restating it, similar words, but new. And then a final thought, and I'll be honest, before I move on to the final thought, this is probably the hardest because you're like, I already did the thesis statement. It's pretty good as it is. Try first to, my little helpful hint, try first to take the original thesis statement and move it around. Like it's the same sentence, change the structure of the sentence. Okay, try that first. Final thought. The final thought is your last chance to leave a lasting impression on your audience. So what do you want them to remember from the essay that you wrote? For argument persuasive, which we're not doing yet, your final thought should be a call to action. We'll talk about that when we get there. I love those. It's like, do this. But that's not what we're doing. We're doing information explanatory, expository. So we're doing an explanatory essay. You can conclude your essay with an analogy, a simile. Remember, analogies and similes are how something is similar to something else, a comparison, if you will, a metaphor, or a link to a greater theme, an idea that is bigger than what you've talked about. Some good things to think about when you're doing your final thought. It should, and it can, make your audience think about a greater issue, compel your audience to take action, or leave a lasting impression. Those are all things that it should do. A poor final thought, last part of the essay. Among Us has to be the game of the year for 2020. It doesn't make the audience think, just provides your simple opinion. A good one, example, even though times may be tough during the current pandemic, Among Us is a game where one might find a sense of normalcy in very uncommon times. Okay. And then I'm going to have you do this later, not today, probably tomorrow. We'll do some practice restating the thesis because, like I talked about, this is probably the hardest aspect of the final paragraph. Okay, so there you go. Let me know if you need help.